Today's topic is going to be really weird. It's going to be a topic that you've probably been given bad advice about. So, the topic for today is going to be about content creation. It's going to be about how do you get bigger as a content creator? What are the important things? And one misconception, one lie that you've been told is that content creation is about creating better content. That is the stupidest thing you have ever been told. And I'm going to break it down for you in this episode.
Follow your passion might be a perfect question to ask and might have a perfect answer when interpreted right.
Let's start tracking which stocks can actually go up and go down, or which stocks have an advantage with the vaccine coming out.
Why it would have been more expensive to fake a moon landing back in those days. It's quite an interesting video to watch.
The economic activity created from the App Store alone is worth $500 billion.
So let's move on to the next question.
Man, it was too easy.
Too easy, no? Why didn't you answer?
First, let's do a thought experiment. So, thought experiment in this one is take the example of Swiggy and Zomato. All of you are familiar with Swiggy and Zomato. So, take their example. If you go to people on the street and ask them, put a mic to their face and say, bro, do you like Swiggy or do you like Zomato? Most people will actually give you an answer. They will actually say Swiggy or they will actually say Zomato. And then you ask them, why? Why is Swiggy better than Zomato in your eyes? And they will give you all sorts of cock and bull theories. They will say things like, the food delivery is faster, which is a lie because both companies use delivery boys from the other company, right? They're always cycling. They will say things like, well, I like Zomato's colors, or I like Swiggy's customer support, which is a lie. Even if, Zomato's customer support falls behind Swiggy's customer support for a bit, because they're both massive companies, it's easy for them to copy each other. So at the end of the day, there really is no difference between Swiggy and Zomato in the content of the thing, right? In what is being offered to you, in what their business is, there's very little difference. Maybe there are minor differences, but there's very little difference. What creates the differentiation in your head is the brand. What does Swiggy stand for? What does Zomato stand for? And that has nothing to do with what's packaged inside Swiggy or Zomato, or what's on the app, or what's in the business. A brand is the perception you have of them, right? So it's exactly the same when it comes to creating content. I was talking to Shashank, who does finance content, and he was talking about all the players in this space. He was talking about the top players who get more than, say, 50K views. And he was naming them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I was thinking, if a new player in the finance space wants to enter, then that player can't enter by saying, I want to be the best, or I am the best. Even if that person is the best finance guy out there, how is that person supposed to get attention when all these top 10, 15 players, all the way from 1 million views to like 100K views, all of them have already taken their seats? Because gaining attention is very difficult, and gaining attention has nothing to do with skill. If it did, then the Digital Maya versus Varun Maya video would have been #1 trending on YouTube. Skill doesn't matter at all. It depends on what gets attention and what gets reach. So my suggestion to all those people who are planning to do content and are saying, I'm going to be the N number, digital marketing guy, or I'm going to be the 15,000th finance guy, don't do it. Find a niche. Find some segment that has been untouched, that is not cool, or that doesn't have all the hype, and hope that one day that segment gets larger and larger, or you get larger and larger as a content creator and start doing multiple things. So for example, when it comes to sales, you could make a channel just about phone call sales, right? Make a channel where you're just, picking up the phone and dialing people, and make your channel entirely about that, right? Called sales phone training or something like that. And then once you get to like, say 100K subs or something like that, or 100K followers on Instagram, then you can say, well, now I'm going to talk about plenty more things. Now I'm going to talk about email sales, right? So start with a niche. And this is the same advice that a lot of venture capital firms will give smaller businesses. They'll say, well, don't take a battle against a $1 billion champion. Find an untapped niche. Find a white space. White space is basically a gap, right? No one's taken that yet. So slip in. Whether that white space you slip in because it's difficult to get in or nobody's looked at it, doesn't matter. Find a gap, right? Find a gap with just like 5-6 players and then say, I'm going to be here and I'm going to do my thing. And then once you get to 100K subs or 100K followers or whatever, then diversify. Then say, I'm going to, I've taken this small niche. Now I'm going to do plenty more things because now people know you. Now you have an audience, and gaining that initial audience is the hardest thing out there. And the only way you're going to gain their attention is by doing something that nobody's looking at yet. The best founders in the world, from whatever I've heard, is they're capable of looking at target markets even before other people recognize it. Right? They basically create markets. That's why they're called category creators. That's what the book, The Blue Ocean Strategy, is about. It's about creating a new ocean instead of, swimming in somebody else's ocean. I was talking in one of my lives about Sandeep Maheshwari and Sadhguru and all the others who, start out small and then eventually get very big. One, they face two challenges. So in one of my lives, I was talking about Sandeep Maheshwari and Sadhguru and stuff. And I was talking about how there was a point in time where I'm pretty sure they were small. And today, they've racked up, millions of views, probably billions of views. They actually face two challenges. The first challenge is that as they scale, they'll realize that not everybody is going to agree with some of their nuanced opinions. Not everybody is going to agree with their niche opinions, and they will alienate crowds. So what they realize is, I want everyone to agree with me, so their message starts getting diluted. They say things, but all they're saying is feel good, positive things. And the reason they're saying that is because otherwise somebody's going to throw stones at them for taking a stance. The second challenge is that as you scale, you want to reach a wider audience. And you can't be niche when you want to go after millions and billions of views. You can't only say, I'm only going to talk about hair oil. So as they scale, the second challenge is that they realize that for them to keep growing, for them to get the next 1 million subscribers or the next 10 million subscribers, they've got to go more and more massy. And that's why MrBeast works, right? Because MrBeast gives away money. His videos are spectacular. Everybody can relate. I saw MrBeast in the Clubhouse room, right? And MrBeast was essentially saying, somebody was asking him about a specific technique. And he said, let's not go into the specifics because we'll alienate the people in the room. All top content creators have basically just become generics, right? There's a funny quote on Twitter saying that they end up being fortune cookies. And that is the truth. And they have no choice. Otherwise, they will constantly alienate their fans and they will essentially not get the views if they talk about something very specific. And not just views and likes. And once you get to that size, your mental health is linked to it. So one day, if you put out a video and instead of getting 1 million views, you get 100K views, your mental health suffers. So obviously, they're getting feedback from the audience. So they do more of what the audience wants. So what is it that you should take away from this? You should take away the fact that whether it's an Ola, Uber, Swiggy, Zomato, at a massive level of scale, the only perception that's different is the brand, right? And I'm going to give you one last example of this. Anime is a category. You agree with me? Anime is a category. What is the difference between Dragon Ball Z and Naruto? They're both anime, right? They're both categories. You could say that, well, if Goku has the ability to do a Kamehameha, and Kamehameha is popular among the fans, it's very easy for the writers of Naruto to also make Naruto do a Kamehameha. But that's not going to fly. The fans are immediately going to be like, this doesn't fit in this universe. So you see that the peculiar personalities of the people, or the brand or the perception that people have of the characters, is more important than the animation style or the particular skill or whatever it is, right? The things that matter are the things that the fans end up seeing as different from the next anime, right? Otherwise, you're going to be the next anime on the block that does exactly the same thing, right? So look at all the things you've seen or all the things you've experienced and see when something goes massy, See the things that stick, right? And don't worry about being better or having better equipment, right? The Naruto's animation style is not the greatest animation style out there. Right? There are plenty that have way better quality. Netflix makes amazing anime even today in terms of quality, but their views are terrible because they miss out on personality and character building. And when fans watch people, right? Like when fans get on a YouTube video and watch a creator, and I think PewDiePie said this, and he said this multiple times, they do it for the personality. They do it for who you are, the way you speak, the things, the ideas you have. They don't do it for your camera quality or what space you're in. So think accordingly and plan your content career to fit into a niche and then expand. That's it for me.